All right, CNT120, Chapter 3 Lab. We are now on this section with IPv6 addressing. Again, make sure you save your packet tracer file and your text file as you go here so you're not losing any progress. All right, let's take a look at the Harrisburg laptop and then the Philly laptop to see what we have for IPv6 addressing. So Harrisburg laptop, I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go to the command prompt here, and I'm going to issue the IPv6 config command. Now, that is a Cisco packet tracer command, just a heads up. In real life, if you do ipconfig, you can see the IPv6 address. So in packet tracer, they just put this extra piece in here so that you're getting either the IP4 or IP6 address that you're looking for. So IPv6 config. And this says, okay, for this PC, here is your link local IP address, IPv6 address. All right, that's they're saying this right here, this is my link local. This is not going to be any kind of routable IP address. Let's see what we have for the Philadelphia laptop. Over here, we'll do the same thing, IPv6 config. Again, I'm seeing a link local address, nothing else. All right, so this is not a routable IPv6 address. So we're going to set a static IP on the Harrisburg laptop and then one on the Philly laptop and route traffic, if you will, between them. So on the Harrisburg PC, what we're going to do, if you remember reading about IPv6 addresses, one way we can do an IPv6 address is we use basically the global routing prefix for the first half, and the second half we can use the MAC address. Well, just to make it kind of unique for us, if you remember on a MAC address, the first half of the MAC address is the manufacturer, the second half is unique to that PC. So what we're going to do is we'll set the basically the network portion for the first half of the IP address, and then we're going to use the last half of the MAC for the last half of the IP6 address. So let's go here to our Harrisburg laptop. We'll go here to the ipconfig command. We're going to do ipconfig/all because we want to see the MAC address. This right here would be the last half, 70BA5A. I think that's what I have written here for you, 70BA5A. We are going to hold on to that. You notice I changed the format, 70:BA:5A:. We're making that part, which is unique for that PC, the last half of the IP6 address. All right. So we're keeping note of that. And we'll then use the router gateway address to look at the router gateway address to figure out the first half of our IP6 address. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go here to the router. And if I hold my pointer over the router, you can do it. That top line there that says gigabit Ethernet 0/0. Keep going across that line, you'll see 192.168.10.1. That was the IPv4 address we used in the last part of the lab. Keep reading. FD00:A::A::A. That is the IP6 address we're going to use. Now, that full thing is the IP6 address for this interface. We just need the first half to identify the network. So the FD00, hopefully you remember FD is basically like private addressing, looking at your IPv6 prefixes. FD00:A::A::A. That is essentially the network part of this address. If I look at a bigger picture, this is the A::A::A network. This is the A::A::B network. This is the A::A::C network. I'm using that last letter before the end of the global routing prefix. I'm using that last letter as like the subnet. So here's the A, here's the B, here's the C. So right here, if I look at this router, that gateway address, FD00:A::A::A, that is this network. So that FD00:A::A::A, that is the network piece for this network. We're going to combine that with the last half of the MAC, and that'll become the IPv6 address of this guy. So right here, here's the network piece I just mentioned. Here was the last half of the MAC that we looked at right here. When I put those two together, that can be the IP version 6 address for this laptop on this network. So what I can do, you're kind of in a wonderful situation here. You can actually copy this and paste it into the simulator. You can't always do this in real life. So I'm going to copy that, making sure I don't have an extra space at the beginning, making sure I don't have an extra space at the end. I'm going to copy this, and in my simulator over here on my Harrisburg laptop, I will go to the ipconfig part. I need to leave the IP version 4 alone. I'm going to go down here to the IP version 6, and I will paste that in. Again, I'm making sure I don't have a space at the beginning. I'm making sure I don't have a space at the end, and I do need those double colons in the middle. That'll be the IP address for this guy. We want to indicate 64, basically half as network, half as host, if you will. And we also need the gateway address. Well, the gateway was that router interface, A:/A:/A, bada bada bada. Okay, so up here I'm getting it from this router. If I look at that top line there, 202:16FF:, and so forth. That is the address I'm getting for this interface right here. And here it is again. We can be smarter, work smarter, not harder here. Highlight this, make sure I don't get anything extra at the beginning or extra at the end. Right click, copy carefully. Go to this laptop again, and I will paste it in for, not the link local, the gateway address right here. The gateway address right there. All right, again, making sure I don't have an extra space at the front or the back. If I go to close this and I don't get any errors, awesome, I have done it well. If I get an error, again, go back and make sure you don't have an extra space at the end or beginning, anything like that. So carefully recopy and paste. So this Harrisburg laptop should now have a valid IP address. So let's verify that. We're going to go to the command prompt, and we're going to go IPv6 config, and we're going to look for, IPv6 config. There we go. I'm going to make this a little wider, and I should see here is my IP6 address that we just created. It put a 0 in the middle, not a problem. It filled it in between the two colons. Here is that router address, that router interface address that we got and plugged in. So there's my IP and my gateway address. So we should now have a valid IP6 address to use on this network. All right, we're going to follow the same logic for the Philadelphia side. Same exact logic over here. So we'll quick take a peek at the MAC address, ipconfig/all. I'm going to grab this last part here, D69EDA. D69EDA. Okay. We are then going to look at the gateway address on this guy, 00. If I hold my pointer over and look at the 00 address, FD00A:/A:/C, there we go, there's the C network, 201.64FF, FE4C, A001, that's the address we're going to use. There it is. Okay. So this will be the network part of our address, and then we will use the last half of the MAC to make the IP address for the laptop. So there would be those two pieces plugged together. So over here on the laptop, ipconfig, down here under IP6 part, we want to grab, get that out of there, I don't need you. Here is our IP address. Carefully, no extra spaces at the beginning or end. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put it here for IP 64, because we're saying basically half is network, half is host. We need the gateway address here. Carefully, no extra spaces beginning or end. And I don't need link local. I want default gateway. That's where I will plug this. When I go to close, I shouldn't get any errors. If I do, go right back and make sure I don't have extra spaces or anything. I'm going to do command prompt IPv6 config, and there should be the addressing that we just plugged in, the IP and then the gateway. And again, it filled a 0 in there in the middle between the two colons. That is fine. So now we have the two laptops set with static IPv6 addresses that should be usable on the network. Now, just as a little side note, as you looked at these routers, you saw IP4 and IP6 addresses. This network is configured dual stack that both IP4 and IP6 addressing and networks are running together. So the IP4 Harrisburg PC to Harrisburg Philadelphia PC will still work. Meanwhile, the Harrisburg laptop IP6 over to Philly laptop IP6, that should work as well. And that's exactly what we're going to test. We're going to try to ping between the Harrisburg laptop and the Philly laptop. So let's work smarter, not harder. We want to do a ping to the Philly laptop. So over here, okay, I'm going to open up the Philly laptop. I'm going to grab the IP address from here, right-click copy. I don't want to change anything. I'm just going to gather that IP. I'm going to come over here to the Harrisburg laptop, open the command prompt, and we will do a ping. I think I have it right here. Yeah, here we go. We're going to do a ping to that. So we're just going to use the ping command. Now, real life would be ping 6. Okay, real life would be ping 6. So we'll do ping, and I'm going to right-click, paste that address in. This is the Philly address because we see A::C. I'm going to hit the enter key, and I should be getting replies. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Now, if I don't, go back and retrace your steps there. Make sure you're getting the correct IP. This is the first result we want. So I'm going to highlight this guy. I'm going to go to my text file. And we're going to put in here IPv6 addressing kind of thing. And we're going to do Harrisburg PC to Philly PC. Oh, no, this is laptop. Excuse me. Harrisburg laptop to Philly laptop ping. I will paste that in. I'll save, and then I'm going to go the other way around. So I'm going to ping from, we did Harrisburg to Philly. Now we're going to go Philly to Harrisburg. So while I'm at Harrisburg, let's get its IP. Right-click copy. I don't want to change anything. Close that out. I will go over here to the Philly laptop. I will issue a new ping. Right-click paste. This is the Harrisburg address. I know because it's A::A. Hit the enter key, and again, I should be getting successful replies. If I do not, watch what you've copy-pasted. Watch your syntax. I'm going to copy this guy, and this will be my second result that I need. So this is now Philly laptop to Harrisburg laptop ping. And we'll paste that in, and we'll save that. So now we have static IP version 6 addresses on the laptops, and we have connectivity going both ways. Both pings are working. So we now have the IP6 network up and rolling, if you will. All right. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the IP6 header fields in our packet sniffer.